There are currently over $89 trillion in the global market. And so with that, the pie is continuing to grow. It's never only always been 89 trillion, and I promise you it will only ever be more than that. In this episode, we talk about the fixed pie theory and exactly how you can continue to grow that pie and take all the slices you want. This is the Gen Ed Show. Welcome back to the Gen Ed Show. This is the place where we teach you how to trust yourself and succeed in the modern age. My name is Eduardo de las Cuevas, your host. I'm a college dropout turned serial entrepreneur, currently operating multiple 6- and 7-figure businesses, and I aim to help you hopefully learn some of the things that you don't even know that you don't even know. So welcome back to the Gen Ed Show. In this episode, we're going to be talking about the fixed pie theory. And with this, we're going to go a little bit back in history to understand how things used to be and why things are currently the way that they are, where the fixed pie theory really comes from, why that doesn't make any sense at all, and especially how you can then go ahead and grow this pie and hopefully take some of those slices for yourself. So with that, starting off first with a little bit of the history to this. So the fixed pie theory. What is the fixed pie theory? What it is exactly a lot of what it sounds like. It assumes that there is a pie, if you will, or a basket, or a finite fixed amount of dollars. And so if let's say that you have $1 billion, somehow, because you have all of that money, I now have less. Now, if you're listening to this and you believe that, then this episode is going to completely be spent contradicting and going against your belief. If you do believe that, then great. You're going to continue to like probably a lot of the things I'm going to say. But I think especially if you still believe in the fixed pie theory, I really aim to help you hopefully understand why that just doesn't make any sense. Starting first and foremost with the fact that if we truly believe that because someone else has more and we have less, that because of that we now have less, it's just a gateway to a tremendous victim mentality because it doesn't make any sense. It is just incredibly disempowering for you to believe that while there are thousands of billionaires, somehow you aren't able to earn $1 million or $1 billion. That doesn't seem fair or make any sense, because at the same rate, if there's $89 trillion in the global market, how is that even possible for you to say that the pie doesn't continue to grow and that you can't go ahead and get some of it for yourself? It just doesn't make any sense. So, for example, we can look at the gold rush, okay? During the gold rush, these are people that are going out to arguably at the time the middle of nowhere, and they are getting a shovel or whatever mining equipment, and they are shoveling through dirt. That is $0 per hour type of work. And until they finally strike gold, now it becomes a valuable activity, right? So all of a sudden, this original $0 per hour work now suddenly becomes, $100 an hour work, or I don't know, it depends on how much obviously gold that they found. And then now, currently the marketplace has X amount of dollars, and now that there has been more gold found, more valuable commodity or currency or whatever, something of value has now been added to the marketplace. So did the marketplace grow? Yes, the marketplace grew. The pie is bigger now. And so now that this gentleman or this woman went out there and they mined or dug and found this gold, they've now grown the pie. Did they take anything from anyone though? No. So then how is it possible to ever steal from someone unless there is no way to get more money into the system? But there is. So then there's no way for this fixed pie theory to make any sense, because it's not fixed. It does continue to grow. And if you are the person that grows it, you can go ahead and have more of that or the majority of that, if not all of it, depending on I don't know, different factors. But so the fixed pie theory doesn't make any sense, because also at the same rate, along with that one example, if we go ahead and we look at when 1971, when Nixon went ahead and took the at least US dollar off of the gold standard, now everything, the dollar is pegged to the country's GDP, but not exactly the GDP. It's based on the speculation that the rest of the world has around America and our GDP and our country continuing to produce and being valuable. Right. And also a lot of times they just, defend and prop up the value of the dollar with guns, but that's a whole different conversation. So with it, though, we can always continue to increase the market share, because the other aspect of this, along with it now being based on since 1971, that a little bit before was credit. The understanding that credit was real. And what do I mean by credit? That credit allows for people to be able to borrow money from their future self. For example, when a credit card company gives you a credit card, you can go ahead and pay someone for that good or service with money that isn't yours and that you don't currently have. But the agreement with the credit card company is that, hey, I don't currently have this money. Let me borrow it, pay for this, and I promise you by this time period, I will have paid you back. And if I don't, you can go ahead and charge me an interest. And it sounds so very simple nowadays, but like 200 years ago, 300 years ago, a few hundred years ago, like that shit was wild. Like, wait, you're telling me I'm going to give you this like real tangible good, and you're going to give me a piece of paper? And wait, so I'm supposed to pay for this tangible good for you, and you promise me that in the future you're going to pay me? That's a lot of trust. And we have come a long way as a species to have credit be such a commonplace thing. And because of this, have learned to trust one another so much more than ever before. And imagine what happens when all of a sudden we're able to not just take into account the current value of the marketplace, the current value of all the goods and services in this economy, but now we can also take into account the future. We can also now start to borrow money from future rewards to then spur investments in the present day to then create more value in the marketplace. This is literally how more value gets created in the marketplace, how this $89 trillion comes to be, through the printing of more money, through the increase in goods and services and products brought to the marketplace, and the introduction of credit to the marketplace, to society, had a dramatic impact on being able to grow this pie. And the same way, if you're a creator, if you have some sort of either a program, product, offer, service, whatever, when you create that and then you market that, that didn't exist. For example, like Velcro. Velcro wasn't a thing before. Obviously, a lot of people born recently and in the past couple decades, like, Velcro has been around forever. No, it hasn't. No, it hasn't. It was never in the marketplace for a long period of time up until not that long ago. And thanks to Velcro, it has solved a lot of things. And it has then such increased the amount of value in the marketplace because there are many things that Velcro is now applicable to and that people were then able to take. Because this is our superpower. The human superpower is the power of abstraction. For example, we as humans have found a way to turn things that arguably would have been fucking useless and somehow made it become valuable, either through turning it into some other product, some other service, some other utility. Maybe it ends up being a raw material that actually ends up being very useful in something else. Or you can literally play with certain supplies and demand dynamics of things, for example, like Elon Musk. When Elon Musk went and he created a Cybertruck, he was using series stainless steel. And with that, the type of alloy metal composition that he was using, is very low demand, very expensive. But so what he ended up doing is buying a large amount and extending it to then be able to be used on something like his trucks versus what it was originally intended for. And then that increase led to a large amount in supply and then a dropping down in price because he needed it, and supply came up. And with that, now all of a sudden something that didn't carry as much value now carries a lot of value, and other people follow this trend, and now all of a sudden a market emerges. And this is how the pie continues to grow. Innovation, technology, things improve by nature of time. And so with that, to assume that the pie is always going to be fixed, or because someone has more, you have less, is dumb. It doesn't make any sense. You're able to earn as much as you want to earn. The thing is that, are you relying upon someone else to grow that pie and then give you some of their crumbs? Or are you going to spend time focusing on how you can grow that pie and then keep those slices? And then that's what payroll is. You give crumbs of the slice to everyone involved, right? Everyone gets a piece of the slice. But it's your job as the entrepreneur, as the owner, as the CEO, to focus on how do we grow the pie in the market, right? So with it, I want you to just be very careful about this fixed pie theory, because there's $89 trillion in the market. There's only going to ever be more. When you create things and you bring value to the marketplace, it only grows. You're never going to have less, or because of someone having more, you have less. It's just not true. You can make value from thin air. That's our superpower. That's what makes us so great. That's why we can go leaps and bounds ahead of any other species. And that's why the technological curve is what it is, where we are just shooting up right now, because things continue to exponentially improve upon themselves. And now we have technology to aid us in this process as well. Value only ever grows. The pie only ever gets bigger. And as there's more humans in the world, more humans equals more value in the marketplace. It's more people buying and selling things, more people interacting in the economies. It's literally always going to grow. So to believe that it's fixed, it's just naive. So thank you so much for tuning in to this episode about the fixed pie theory, understanding some of the history with where currency has come and why we are where we're at. And so that this way as well, some perspective for you when it comes to growing that pie for yourself, and knowing that you're fully able to do this, and that there's more enough potential ability there for you to take that slice and give that for yourself, or for, of course, your team, as you guys work to grow your pie. If you thought and felt that this episode was super useful and impactful and valuable, please do make sure to share it on all of your social medias. You can find us as well on all the different platforms. You can find them down there below in the comments. And with that, make sure to hit that subscribe button, ring that notification bell, download the show if you're on Spotify, Apple, or wherever, and make sure to tune in again next week, or for the next episode. We release episodes every Monday and every Thursday on YouTube and all the other streaming platforms. So thank you for tuning in, and I'll leave you as I leave you always, to be present, love deeply, and aim higher. See you next time.